hello to everybody. Say hello everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's actually Christmas Day. £6. Look at that beauty there. Common. £26. December. Jump, jump, jump. Ugly. Don't know how big it is. Telling angels, aren't they? And action. Right, this is my first video of 2019, and I'm after Zander. Same venue, Villeneuve de la Gare, and I'm after Zander with lures. Now, as you know, well, if you watch my videos, that last 11 pounder on the method feeder didn't sit right. Even though I've had 2 Zander on method feeder, it just didn't sit right. So of course I've got to try with lures again. Now I went out and bought some lures, which is unlike me. Well, it's not unlike me. It's not unlike any other angler as well. You just get sucked into it. And I bought soft plastics. I bought a set of soft plastics. Cheap. Loads of different types. There's curly tails, paddle tails, the usual, very fashionable these days. What I perceive to be like the right size and shape. Not too small for perch, not too big for pike. Zander lures. And I've had no success on them, needless to say. You know, there's some smaller paddle tails there. And the unfortunate thing is that with the set, you get the jig head's just too small. That's 15 grams, and it's the biggest one they do in the set. So I've rigged them up with cod hooks, and was fishing them with a like a big 30 and 40 gram jig head. Just threaded up the line, but that was going into the rocks, and I've just lost a complete set of tackle. So I've decided to fish more drop shot. I've just re-rigged now. I'll show you that. It's reminiscent of what you'd see in the, you know, cod fishing. I'm at the wind. I'm in the lee of the wind here, and it's just dropped off. Actually, it's a very sunny day, and it's the 6th of February. So I've got a 30 gram weight at the bottom, and basically 2 droppers. See that? With paddle tails on, like not bright ones. These are a gudgeon pattern apparently. It's supposed to look like gudgeon. They look a little bit like gudgeon. Same multiplier and carp rod as always, but I'm really not very confident at all. I'm going to fish my way back to the van, jump in the van and go and get a tin of sweet corn, because I just found a load of carp feeding down the outlet channel there, and I mean like a dozen of them, tails up job, you know. So in the meantime, here's the beautiful scenery, here's the blue skies, 6th of February, no fish to report. There's the lake, look, that's where I go fishing. As I settle down for the first brew of the first overnighter of 2019, I'm just going to have this cup of tea, and then I'm going to tell you all about what I'm doing. Right, I've got 2 rods out fishing. I'm going to show you what I do as a standard method rig. Now, if you've seen my Christmas special, then great. If not, why not? Click on it, link description below. I really want to just fish the method now on the bottom. I love roach fishing on the float. There's no better feeling than catching 2 pounders on the float. The rods that I'm using now on the bottom here are 3 3/4 pound test. Now the reason why I'm using them is because I'm using big method feeders, which is exactly how I wanted to fish for the carp. But as you've seen, you catch everything. bream, carp, roach, chub and zander. So I'm going to call it standard zander tactics. Now the rods, like I say, a 3 3/4 pound test. They ain't small. Now you catch a the Sonics. Now you catch a 3 pound roach on one of these, you barely know it's there. A little add-on is a solar line clip. They're bloody handy. Reels are just a workhorse from Daiwa, and they've got a 50mm butt ring. But these feeders that I've got on this feeder I've got on this rod, they've discontinued them. Can't get them anymore. So I've started using like a match style method feeder, which are good, but they don't have a lot of weight on them. I've had to wrap little bits of strip lead just to keep a bit of extra weight out there. You know this, I know this swim, it's 25 plus foot deep, you know what I mean, it's a deep one. Lead core leader and a flying back lead. Now the flying back lead isn't a flying back lead, it's just a drill bullet, much cheaper, and a bead to stop the knot, to help the knot there, look. So the end tackle, I think actually it's a size 8 hook, not a 6. Where's the thingy? I think it's a size 8, but that's a 14mm pellet. Seems unusual when you're catching monster carp on it, but you will get roach and bream and all the other jazz that swims in here. I've spombed out maize and hemp, about 5 pints or something, I don't know. However big this bucket is, it might be on that label there. It's non-hazard when mixed, apparently. Danger warning. I don't know what it is. Here we go. I don't know how big this bucket is, but it pays to know. Danger warning. It pays to know how much bait's going in. But I mean, that was full, and it's just hemp and maize. It smells lovely. Now it's to invite everything out into the swim to feed. This is my ground bait mix, which is just a gooster, I don't know, a tang, bicape. It's just a biscuit mix, we'll say, I don't know. But I've added PV1 binder to that. Got a few pellets there for hook baits. Tin of sweet corn because I've got the float rod set up, and I'll show you that in a minute. So I've got to get this rod ready anyway. There's a slight left to right tow on, and I've had a few casts with a float, and it is towing along. I am tripping bottom, but it is towing along. And it is very slight. I mean, the weather forecast says 3 to 5 kph winds. That's all it is. Now you get a 6, 8, 10 kph wind, there's no way you're roach fishing on the float. There's no way at all. That's why you've got the beaks. Why I got the beepers out there. Inevitably, you put the beepers out on lighter carp tackle and Avon style rods, you get carp. I mean, I've had loads and loads of carp whilst roach fishing. So, I mean, I get plagued by carp when I'm roach fishing, which is a problem because you're just playing the bloody things for half an hour on 6 and 8 pound line. Yes, you get them in. I get them in more often than I don't, but it is a problem. So now I've got the carp tackle, the 15 pound line. I've got a smaller hook on, and inevitably I'm going to catch smaller fish. This is the first session at overnighter for the 2019 season, and it is February. Okay, it's sunny, but it's February. This weather isn't going to last forever. Anyway, what I basically do, put the feeder weight side down in my hand, well, get a handful of goo, monge, stick it in there, form a ball first, a really tight ball. Somehow some liquid's got into this, I don't know what flavour of liquid, but whatever. And then I stick my bait on top, my hook bait on top, like that, and then fill it up. Just put another small skim of ground bait on top of it. And I've got fairly big hands, but as you can see, that isn't the light. That's not light. I mean, it's 40 grams in the middle of that, plus however much ground bait that is. Could easily be 4 ounces. Now, that's why I've stepped up the rod size as well, is because this is how I want to fish in the summer. Nothing but that. Whether I put a boilie on or a pellet on, it's entirely up to me, but that's how I want to fish all the time. I can't be bothered with the clipping the spom rod up and all that kind of stuff. I put a big bed of bait out there and I'm not clipped up at all. These deep water swims at this end of the lake, the rocks come in at a very steep angle. I'll show you this now. So if your fishing line is at the top of this knuckle here, and the further out you, I mean the bottom just slopes away gently, mud. So the further out you fish, the length, you know what I mean? You might as well just fish here, because there's no particular difference between here and there, depth wise anyway. You're still in a good depth of water. But so you're just making it harder for yourself the further out you fish. A lot of these lads on here go 25 wraps in different swims, shallower swims up around the corner, and I just don't have the power. Well, probably do. Why do we? There's no point. I don't think there's any point. Anyway, and you probably couldn't cast this method feed at 25 wraps anyway. If you could, you're a better man than me. Anyway, so I form a method feeder like that, and then I get in me hemp and me all that juice there, hemp juice, wet my hands with it, and then give it another squeeze. Now this is a trick, and you get a skin on it, get a lovely glazed skin on it, like I say with the PV1 binder. The carp just eat all that, all of it. They'll just come in there, or the little fish eat it, or the bream peck at it, etc, etc. That's why another reason why I got the flying back lead, is because when you got 3 or 4 fish on that, and you have got 3 or 4 fish on that at a time, easy. I know there is. I mean, I haven't had a bite yet, but want as little indication at this end as possible, except for the bite, you know. So I'll get this out for you now. Let's change the camera angle a bit. I'll chuck it out now. Fail. Got a bit too over amorous on the cast there. Plus I think there was a bit of wetter stuff on the inside of that ground bait ball. So we'll just do it again. Now imagine if that was a PVA bag, I'd have to put another one on and faff about, and if you were going at big distances, the big wraps and stuff like that, I can't be arsed with it. Carp fishing isn't my favourite thing to do. Just for the camera. And if you don't know where the bottom of your feeder is, just hold it like that. Gravity and density finds its own way in. No, I won't bury this hook bait because look, that's the way it's going to fish. If you turn the ball up that way, the wrong way up, and let go, finds its own gravity. I'm not going to bury this one because I can't be bothered. Just stick it in there like that. So there's my hook bait. Can you see me? I can't see you. There you go. Hook bait, ground bait ball, right slap bang in the top. I will glaze it though, because I like doing it. Also pays to have a bucket of water around with you, because everything gets mungered up to high heavens. And we'll try that again.
20 odd foot of water, it gets, you know, 5 reps, 10, well, I mean, the rock start at about 5 to 8 rod lengths out. So as long as you're more than that, you're on the top.
And we're fishing. Bobbins up tight to the rods, no slack line in here. No point. Tips up, tips down, I don't know. Have the rods horizontal, pointing at the fish. Right, so another reason why I'm here, got a new tackle box. In there is everything I need. Because I've had enough of bringing the roach gear and being plagued by carp, bringing the carp gear and having ideal conditions to fish for the roach. So I'm bringing it all at all times. I'll bring 3 carp rods, spawn rod, quiver tip rod and a float rod at all times, I think, and associated tackle with it. This isn't just carp tackle in here, there's all sorts. Roach gear, feeders, I've got some open-ended feeders, but they, like I say, I'm doing most of my stuff on a method now. There is no finer way of catching roach than on the float. Fact, and it is really good fun, and they fight like tigers on the right tackle, which is right here. Now at the moment this is, well, it's 4,000 size reel, but at the moment that line needs replacing. It's only £6, it's cheap, 3 or 4 quid or whatever. I mean it's doing the job. There's the stop knot there, can you see that? There it is. Now that, the hook is in the first eye. It's a 13-foot rod. I'm just trying to get the float. Where are we? It's a Drennan Red Range 13-foot float, right? It's a lovely, lovely rod. There we go. And you don't half know when you've got a roach on this, and it weighs nothing. Well, compared to the carp rods, it weighs nothing. Hook, I like to use fly hooks. This is a heavy gauge. That's Kamasan, I think. No, Drennan, it's a shrimp pattern or whatever. Fly hooks are brilliant for roach fishing. You get long shanks, you can do carp style patterns and techniques. You stick 2 grains of sweet corn on there. These hooks are just awesome, really are. Then a 12-inch hook length. Small swivel, there we go, that's the dropper swivel. Right, big looped up length of line up to my bulk shot, which is a couple, probably about 2 SSGs, and you need it to get the weight down. And then this is back to your single length of £6 line. That's the doubled up length because I've put loads of shot on it. To stop that all hanging onto the thingy, onto the banging into the bulk shot, there's 3 smaller shot there. 1 will move, 2 will move, 3 don't. That's 2 lead and 1 lead free. It's France, so you can use lead weights. Don't see why not. Small slider bead there, that's from Kim's sewing kit. And a swivel and a snap swivel. So the float will fold on the strike as well, don't forget, you know, this is a sliding float. This is the new model that I've got recently at the shop. I just put some black silicone over the tip there to give me some indication. Okay, you're not fishing far out, but in these situations, on this lake, you need to see a lot of float, but still retain sensitivity. And that's the float rod. I brought it. I had a session a couple of days ago and failed. I haven't caught a fish yet this year. I know I'm going to catch one on this session, but exactly what and how big I don't know. Ideally, I call this zander fishing because this is how I've caught all my zander. It's going to get cold tonight. I brought my woolly hat, that's around here somewhere, salopettes. I'm going to be constantly brewing up. Well, I have got a bottle of wine for tonight. And I saw a fish roll in my swim about an hour ago. I think it was a bream. I've got barbless hook on 1 rod in case I get plagued by a bream, and if I get a lot of bream, I'll I'll put barbless on them all. I can always get the forceps out and just unhook them in the edge. I have got the key net with me, but that's for big roach retaining and stuff like that. You know, zander maybe for a few minutes if I have to get the camera out. This is mainly a preliminary, because if ever you've changed tackle boxes or changed bags or something like that, if you leave something in another bag and leave it at home, inevitably you've got to bring shitloads of gear, and I hate bringing loads of gear and forgetting something essential. So I'm trying to get my gear together. Basically everything I've got here now, as long as I'm packing away in the right bag, I can just put my fishing gear in the van and go. I know it's all there. I don't have to go into another hold all and get my float rod out and all that kind of stuff. You know, oh, I'll take my float rod with me. So you get your float rod and you put that in, and then a reel to go with it, and then some floats to go with it, and all that kind of stuff. But no, I can't be bothered with that. This tow on now is probably about maximum that you can get away with float fishing. Maximum. You know, things are done at range. Unless they're up in the water, half depth, and they're taking it hard, it's difficult to fish. In the summer, yeah, wind like this, no problem. Ball of ground bait every cast, whack the float out, you're getting a 10 ounce to a pound and a half roach every single cast. And I mean it, this is the best roach fishing I have ever had or ever seen. My aim this year is to get a 3-pounder. If I get a 3-pounder on a carp tackle, then so be it. Not a lot I can say about that. I'll take it as a PB. I would much prefer to get a 3-pounder on that float tackle. Oh, I mean, you get a 2 on that float tackle, but by God, you've got a fight on your hands. And I mean it, they fight like tigers. Really hard, dogged fight. So all you carpers out there that go, it's a carp, all I want to do is catch carp, I've got everything I've got's green. I've got green jogging bottoms on, so I want to catch more carp. You're missing out on the roach fishing, guys, you really are. It is a superb sport, and I mean it. Makes you a better angler as well. To be honest with you, I'm a little bit sick of carp fishing, especially on here. Doesn't hold any surprises for me really. Yeah, I could get a 40-pounder. I haven't had a 40 from this venue. I think my best from the venue is barely 35. But they're nothing to look at. And I don't want to spend hundreds of pounds on boilies. I ain't gonna do it. If I do, well, I've never done it yet, but if I do, I want to be fishing for 50-pounders and 60-pounders, and that's fact. Because, you know, why give a 20-pounder a week's wages worth of boilies? Give them the cheap stuff. This was about £3 worth of, not even that. Boil it up, chuck it in. This is how I want to fish now for the rest. So I won't probably do a tackle piece to camera at all this year after this one now, because there's nothing to learn. It's all simple. I cannot teach you any tips. There is no tips out there. I mean, all I ever do is knotless knot, so there's no rig tips. It'll all be a variation on the theme. If I fish straight lead, you know, standard carp tactics, then I'm just borrowing everybody else's technique. I don't know. I mean, I have got some D rigs tied up because a mate of mine persuaded me to, and my Q2 look. Fashion, that's all it is. My original carp rig was with this stuff, snake bite, £25, and I catch a lot of catfish on that. Well, I've caught a lot of catfish on that. That is indestructible. But as you can see, there's not a lot left on the spool there. Hey, up there comes a canoer. He's coming in shot. Put back legs, you see. There he comes. Meow. He's about just over my bait really. I'm a little bit further out than he was. Poppy's here in the sunshine, she's eaten through her lead already. And that's it really. I'm going to tidy up, sign off now. I'll let you know if I catch a fish. Hopefully it'll be a zander, hopefully it'll be a 3-pound roach. If it's anything big or nice, or I've got to show you a fish because there's no point putting this video out. This is why I fish barbless hooks. Catch anything. Next cast could be a 30-pound carp. Pow. And I know, look at my shades, they're brilliant, aren't they? Look at that, that's a bit funnier. Like a bee. I know you're dying to know what the tipple is. It's tea. But I haven't forgotten my cup today. This is a new cup. Kim got me for this for Christmas. It's got fish on it, which makes every cup of tea taste better. Tuna. Nice, skipjack. I've not had one of them. I've caught pollock, cod. I've not caught haddock or skipjack. I've caught perch, rainbow trout, carp, and I've not caught sprat, but I've caught using sprats. So I'll work my way around this mug in a bit. I've been watching tuna fishing on the telly. It's been awesome. Or YouTube. Or on the download. Cut to a few pieces on that because it's been awesome.
Run. What happened? On the hook.
Got coconut macaroons and all. Macaron coco. Take a cup of tea. Oh, these are terrible, these biscuits here. Very popular in France. They're like a chocky bicky. But they're just like a bit wet, you know, they go away when dipped in a cup of tea. I've got the Snickers and all. A couple of Snickers. Keep going. I'm going to cook a curry for tea. But in the meantime, coconut macaroon, cup of tea. I can't flip it. What's that button do? I don't know what that button does. No. I wouldn't normally show you a brain, but there's nothing else to show you. I've had 3 of these last night. 2 of these and 2 roach. Now it's a male. It's got tubercles all over it in February. Look at that. Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Right, I wouldn't normally show you one of these, but there we are. Male fish, tubercles all over it, Febuary. Cracking spot on the right gear. Ew. Slimy, horrible. But I'm getting bites. That's my second bream. 2 roach last night as well. No carp to show you, but on the right gear, these are brilliant. Two carp at the same time. Oh no. They can come to beast. Fairly big fish on one time. Most of them are over a pound. My way of catching zander, guys, might not be orthodox, is on a method feeder. There's some roach for you guys. They're beautiful, aren't they?